My fiancé proposed with a ring that cost less than his gaming console, and when I brought it up, he blew up and revealed his master plan, and I feel like I don't even know the man I almost married. So my fiancé is quite well off, and while I don't make as much as him, I certainly would not be struggling on my own. He rotates between a few very expensive watches that he wears to work, and while we have a good grasp on financial literacy, we aren't shy about spending for the important parts of life. We openly share finances, so I know he isn't secretly in debt or any such nonsense. The ring is nice and understated, but more of a nice stacker than an engagement ring to show off. The stone, which I'm doubtful of being a diamond, is quite small. It is not heirloom. When friends or family get engaged, there is always the excitement in sharing the news, and inevitably someone will ask to see the ring, and then everyone coos over it, and it's a good time. When I showed mine, the mood got awkward and they feigned excitement just long enough until it was okay to change the topic. This is not a knock on them, they are just terrible liars. I would like to make clear that I am not expecting a 3-month salary ring or an over-the-top wedding. However, this is a piece I will be wearing daily for decades, and is largely considered a symbol of his love. I know not all feel this way, but we do, or at least I thought we did. But I really don't think I'm out of line for thinking of it as a long-term investment piece given the amount of wear it will see and the sentimentality behind it. Surely it is worth more than a gaming console? Am I being a jerk here? Edit. I'm getting a lot of the same questions, so I thought I would put the answers here. We had briefly talked about overall style, and he has access to my jewelry box to know the stuff I typically wear. As the price of the ring wasn't very important to me, the budget for it was never really discussed, which I see as a mistake now, but I didn't realize that this could be a problem. Price is not important so much as I don't care if he spent $1,000 or $100,000 on it, but this ring looks cheap. It is not quality craftsmanship. The dampened excitement of showing off my ring was only a part of my post, the rest being that his drastic low ball on a piece I will be wearing every day for the rest of my life doesn't seem like the symbol of love one traditionally associates with engagement and wedding pieces. It's about having a very wealthy fiancé that invests more into the latest gaming console than he does a lifelong symbol of our love. To you, a ring might be just a ring, but unless otherwise discussed, it would be silly to assume it to be a throwaway item. In my culture as well, the engagement ring is paired with the wedding band, not replaced. We share our finances, and I saw the charge on the bank statement. If he paid in cash as well, then he overpaid. Given that he has bought me more expensive jewelry in the past and sees what I wear on a regular basis, for him to lowball an important item this much seems pretty far out of left field and not something I thought I would have needed to clarify with him even if we had a longer conversation about it. Obviously, in hindsight, I should have. I think I am more hurt with what it says to give your fiancé such a low-priced ring when money clearly isn't the issue than the fact that the ring itself was low budget. If we were worse off and $150 took effort to save for, I would be over the moon at what he got me and shoving it in everyone's face. However, this is not remotely the case. He has gifted diamond studs and other fine jewelry before and will splurge a bit more if it's something for the both of us, for example a surprise getaway weekend for a holiday. He doesn't throw his money around needlessly, but he isn't stingy. To be blunt, it's a cheap ring. In looks and cost. Yes, he could have spent hours picking out the indie jeweler to get the ring that is nothing like what I have or have ever mentioned liking in a much lower price bracket than we would ordinarily spend on just regular accessories. However, I don't feel like I'm making a large leap in assuming he didn't. To me, this is about more than just the fact that he didn't get the exact style I had in mind. I also take exception to the people here acting like being unhappy with the ring means I'm unhappy with the engagement. Nowhere have I ever said this to be the case. Life isn't an all or nothing game. I can be unhappy with the ring while still being madly in love with my fiancé and thrilled to spend our lives together. We will be talking about this for sure, but I know this can be a touchy subject and wanted an objective eye on it first. I will update this post after that conversation. Update. He came home and we were settling down, and around dinner I started the conversation with honey, I'd like to talk about the ring, and before I could finish he just blew up. Started yelling freaking finally and how I'd ruined everything by waiting so long. To be brief, he bought a crappy ring from a jeweler who got bad reviews so that when I got upset over it he could dump me under the guise that I was a gold digger. He has apparently been having an affair. Turns out COVID had shortened his work hours, not extended, with a younger model that he's earned, but knew that breaking things off when everyone loved me so much would hurt his optics, so he had to make it my fault. He knew that leading this pariah ship would gain him sympathy, and there was a lot of rhetoric that clearly wasn't his own words but something he was parroting from what I highly suspect is from a much too influential work friend that I've had disagreements with in the past. Changes I had attributed to work stress are glaringly obvious to me now as symptoms of something more malicious under the surface, and I feel really ashamed I didn't see things more clearly earlier or wasn't somehow able to head things off before they got this far. I won't be sticking around to dig any deeper, but I know my now ex-fiancé would not have done and said the things he did without being pushed from bad influences behind the scenes. This doesn't mean I forgive him. I think he is incredibly weak and feeble-minded for letting this happen to us, but I also doubt I will be contacting many of our mutual friends as the dust settles. I left in the middle of his tirade around the 15-minute mark and am staying with at my mother's. I haven't cried yet, and I think I'm still waiting for it all to suddenly make sense, but I know logically it might not ever. Thank you to everyone who responded to my post and offered your thoughts. I don't think anyone could have predicted what was going to happen from the information I gave. On the plus side, if there is one, is that I don't have to wear the freaking hideous ring anymore. Latest update: his family did find out, though I believe on a very surface level. I do not reach out, and I do not have contact with many of the people that I considered myself close friends or potential family to. His very harebrained plan for optics was sort of so bad it's good again. Like myself back then, many people don't seem to believe he is capable of that kind of scheme, so they have just decided he didn't. I did try to maintain a couple mutual friends but had to break it off after they would refuse to acknowledge what he did. I didn't need them to take sides, I just wanted friends I didn't have to censor a major life event from. I have heard that at least as of a month ago he and the affair partner were still together. I saw a picture and she is wearing very expensive, and hideously gaudy, jewelry, but it is not on any outsider to judge their relationship. For at least a split second of the photo it looked like they were genuinely smiling at each other, and seeing his dimples again and in that context was very difficult. So no, the pain isn't gone. I did not find a Prince Charming after. I did not make good choices in general in that regard and am now single again. However, I am finally processing and going through true healing that should have started when this all went down and not after some extended self-care that put other areas of my life in jeopardy. I'm fine, not great but better than I was. All things considered, I'm still incredibly fortunate in life, and I am doing my best to celebrate what I do have rather than look at what and who I don't.